Ever heard of Partners in Peace? Yeah, I got a text message from them earlier this week, and then coincidentally that kind of plays into what was happening in news in Middle East. According to several sources, Israeli forces killed 2 men that were in their custody. And a text message I got came from a pro-Israeli group. One article from Associated Press, and here's another one from NPR. If you Google Partners in Peace and Israel, you're going to find out that that is a group that's sponsored by Israel that is sending out text messages that are pro-Israel, anti-Palestinian. So they basically asked me where I stand on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And I said, well, where do you stand? I need to know who am I talking to? And they said, well, they stand with Israel, vital ally to Western culture, blah, blah, blah. And I said, where do I? When I hear of Israel, what comes to mind? I said, genocide comes to mind first. And they're like, I understand your concern, blah, 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 but this is, they asked me if I knew this about this pay to slave Palestinian program. And I said, is that the one where IDF snipers kill random people on the streets, children and women? And it's like, well, that's not accurate. Well, I don't know. I said, do you still have time to chat? And they asked me what shaped my views. And I said, well, 20,000 children killed indiscriminately by IDF. And I asked them what shaped my views. Was actually something that happened a decade ago. Something happened again this week with these 2 unarmed men that were killed by the IDF forces. So anyway, so we went back and forth. And at the end, I just finally said, you know what? It's like, where did you get my number? And they wouldn't tell me. They said publicly available sources. And I said, well, they asked me about Joe Rogan. I said, I don't watch Joe Rogan. But I kept asking where they get my number. And they're like, yeah, well, publicly available sources. I said, well, if you don't answer my question, one question I'm asking you, then obviously you're not interested in this conversation. It's just whatever. You're just playing around. So they unsubscribed me, I guess. So I clarified my views that I have right now, and then they left me alone. And then I tried to send them 2 messages, including the one from the news sources about Israeli soldier killing the civilian, which is exactly what shaped my views on Israel about a decade or maybe even 15 years ago when I watched that live, when there was some sort of a scuffle going on in Israel, and the Israeli soldier walked up to a person that was laying on the street, barely moving, and they shot him in the head. So, yeah. So if you get those messages from Partners in Peace, just know that they are not, they're not really interested in talking to you. They just want to know whether or not you support Israel. Anyway, have a great Friday. Bye.